What's going on, drifters, aces, and new types? Today, I was invited by Bandai Namco Entertainment North America into the closed beta of Synduality. Now, Synduality is a PvE PvP mech game that is set in the world of the Synduality noir anime. I explored this world in hopes of finding out, is Synduality worth your time? Now, before we dive into it, I have to say thank you, Bandai, for the Steam copy of the closed beta test. My computer far exceeds the minimum requirements for the game, so my experience may differ from others in terms of gameplay or any graphical issues that they may have experienced and or had. Now, let's get in to the review. So this was a closed beta test of Synduality game, which focused heavily on exploration, survival, and you have a unique AI work relationship with your Magus. That's what they call the AI companion in this world, who connects to the back of your cradle coffin. And cradle coffins are the name of the suits you as the player will pilot to gather resources for upgrading your base, collecting crystals, which you will exchange for money, and get new parts and new gear. The closed beta had very limited stages. It was really only one or two maybe that I seen. I know when I was playing first, they had two options, but it was never unlocked, so I may have not progressed far enough. But when I opened it up the next day, it was only limited to one world for me to explore. And I won't give too much in terms of story from what little story that they did have, but I will give you a brief overview of the gameplay and why you are here in this world. So you are a drifter who scavenges the earth's topsoil for crystals to send down to the people underground to power their cities or structure. In some kind of way, 90% of the world population died off due to an event, and we are here as, you know, the scavengers, those who go up top and do the dirty work no one else wants to. But being a faceless character is pretty cool. The only like real face that I would guess you would have would be your Magus, the AI, who you can kind of like outfit and take care of and build up like a good rapport with this person. The Magus is cool, but let's continue with the actual world itself. So speaking of the wasteland, the world feels rather large, but I'm not sure if that was due to the mech speed of movement, which just made traversing feel like really far apart. But sometimes it felt like a crystal would appear kind of off to the distance, but reality, it wasn't too far from me. Just the map just gave like a really weird distance. So I'm not sure if I was perceiving movement as very fast, or is the map just really small but packed full of things for you to do in that map, which all in all, it does feel good to have a map where you can do things in. I just wish there was a little bit more in terms of variety. Now, gameplay wise, this is a real mech game. Like this thing, when you're fighting and traversing through the game, you start off with a brick with legs, as one of my viewers like to call it. Like, why are you going around in this brick with legs? And it very much felt like that. It felt stiff. It felt clumsy. But the minute you get into really upgrade to a better unit and build something you're comfortable with better resistance, better health, a better battery, you really will enjoy like going out and exploring. Shredding through enemies is a really good feeling. And speaking of that, I do have to get into the cons. Like, I would rather, before I go any further in what's good, I really need to express some of my issues with the game. It's the mech battery. Like, I understand you don't want people out there just like rummaging forever and ever, but the battery on the mechs feels wasted, or at least from what was in the closed beta for me. I did not see a reason to continue an expedition once I was filled, and I roughly could go and explore and come back and travel the map within the 20 minutes and have 3 minutes to spare on my battery to get to an extraction zone. And that was me like looting and hoarding everything that I ran across, which also was an issue. You really need more world drops. Like there's some small items. Like right now, I'm still looking for compound fusion compound plus, which there's different areas of the map where you'll be like, I think this would be here based off the names and what it is. Like there's ore, so you're like, okay, I'm not gonna find ore in a river. I should find it near a mountain. Fusion compound plus, there's a nuclear reactor. I should probably look around there for these things. It's stuff like that where you start remembering and building your own exploration of the map where I would think these things should be, but there's just not enough of them for everyone there. Like I may have spent 2-3 hours looking for two items that was very hard to find. So between everyone else picking them up and me going around from area to area trying to pick things up or trying to refresh the world, like, okay, I'm gonna grab this and hopefully I'll leave, come back, it'll spawn something. Stuff like that, it was just not enough. And the loot that you did find was pretty much just random scrap or components for crafting other things that I didn't need at this point. So for me, the world drops need some work, or there needs to be a better classification on where to get certain items. Even if they even made a trade outpost at your base where you can say, hey, I don't need any of these. I'm willing to trade them or sell them on a player market to do what I need to do to get my base up and running, which they may have it later on. It was a closed beta. Not all features were there. So hopefully that is something that is in the future works for it. The community will make or break this game. I had 90% great interactions where I met people, we waved, we kept it moving, we extracted together, there was no issues. But there was, when I first started and I was just getting the lay of the land, there was a person that definitely like picked me off for no reason. And they were not a new player. They were definitely a seasoned vet. What's the likelihood of that happening again? Which, like I said, 90% of the time I did not have an issue with any players. We were cordial. There was some moments where, you circle somebody and be like, I'm not turning my back to you. And you kind of just, feel each other out, and you lose all you lose your magus. So your AI companion can get held captive, as well as, like, if you don't have the money to get her back, she will be held captive, and she will come back dirty, which you have to clean her, which everything costs money. It is money, 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 money. Extract with crystals. Every time you leave your base, you should come back with some sort of money, even if it's just to cover your insurance. I don't believe I should have insurance in games like this, because it's not like I can walk around on foot and gather stuff. I have to have a mech. So for me personally, just some of the mechanics just did not make sense. I feel like once you upgrade and have a suit, it should be your suit. I should not be paying insurance. Now, insurance on your magus, where if she has such and such skills or such and such accessories and stuff like that, then yes, I feel like, yeah, I want my magus insured versus my mech. So therefore, I should not have insurance. Once I upgrade a suit, I feel like that should be your suit. Maybe a repair option, maybe that, but insurance where you lose your suit completely. Weapons, I'll take, somebody will take your weapons, so that's on that. But a full suit, I really don't feel like the insurance should be a thing on that. Now, the campaign itself, the Magus, I did feel like I personally messed up my Magus. I went for certain skills, which I feel like the game should kind of tell you, like, hey, you might want to stick with this, or it's unlocked later to change it. But I don't think you should give the player all of these options right out of the gate. All in all, I would probably rate this game a 7, maybe 7.5. If they have like boss raids and bigger items in the future, I can see that being something that I'd be very much into. I am definitely a person who will be introvert, stick to myself, grab my stuff, upgrade my base, and play around in the world. But there are times where I want to go ahead and, do some boss raids, have some fun, complete some missions with friends, and I see this being a game that kind of handles that. But for me, I'm intrigued because the world is intriguing, and I will probably look into the anime and see how that goes. It has gotten pretty good reviews from everything that I've seen from people, so I'm going to look into that. But the world is very interesting. The mech feels like a mech. Gameplay is good. Gameplay is solid. Gunplay feels great. The different weapons are feel different. It doesn't feel like the same weapon. It's just some small things that hopefully with the gameplay, the story, as more things come out, it's just stuff that I personally couldn't get over. But it is a solid game. It is a playable, solid game, but it is grindy. And for some people, that's fine. Some people like just jumping on and having a task to do. Like, I just want to mindlessly just go out and collect my treasures. There's collectibles in there for you to find. If the community comes in very harsh, very toxic, if someone wants to be king of the pirates with like a trillion zenny bounty, I can see this going horribly wrong. But just I'm putting my faith in the humanity of the community, and like, hey, there'll be people that you might have to, run up on. There should still be a majority of the community where it's not all like savage, scrapland, fight for survival. It should be a nice community. So that's what I'm hoping for. And we'll see what it goes. We'll see how it does from there. Like I said, my verdict, definitely a game I will try. If I could get it into my rotation, I just want to see a lot more from co-op. It was a good beta. I give it that. It was a very good beta. It got my attention, but now I want it to grab my heart. Like, that's what I want. I want to see or get something showcased that makes me say, yes, I need this game, because the enemies went from like barely conscious to hyper aggressive. So if I could get that hyper aggressive enemy in a mid-level boss or like a high-end raid. So if this is something that you might be interested, let me know. Did I answer all your questions, or were there something in particular you were looking for? I do my best to reply to everyone in the comments, so feel free to ask any of the game-related questions below. And until next time, safe sorties, and I will see you in a bit. Peace.